Hello everybody, Mr. Fearless again here. Today I'm going to be starting a new series. This is video 1 of 32. I'll give you one guess what this series is going to be. It is going to be me breaking down each team going into this NFL season, the 2018-19 season. I will be going in alphabetical order. So, first things first, today's video is on the Arizona Cardinals. Um, their biggest weakness this year is definitely going to be quarterback. Obviously, Sam Bradford. Yes, he is a solid quarterback. His skill, I believe it's there, but on Madden when you got the injury rating at 99, well, Sam Bradford's is about a 7. Um, that's obviously his biggest concern is injuries, and previous injuries always leads to more injuries. It's scientific. You can't just put injuries behind you, RG3. Um, it doesn't work that way. So they might have Sam Bradford, but I think who we're going to end up seeing is probably Mike Glennon. And as we saw last year with Chicago, that the Mike Glennon project is not a project you want to deal with. So with that being said, quarterback definitely the biggest weakness on this team this year. At tight end, they got the young tight end Ricky Seals-Jones, who I think he's developing not, I'd say, ahead of speed, but he's gonna be a good tight end for them to have. He's got the size, and he's gonna be probably playing behind Jermaine Gresham, who's an NFL vet. He knows what he's doing. He's been in the league for a long time now. So that'll be interesting to see kind of where the reps end up based off just production this year, because Jermaine Gresham is getting older. He's been in the league for 9 years now. So next topic, wide receivers. Wide receivers, looking at the roster here, they don't really have too many people. They have Larry Fitzgerald and they have J.J. Nelson. Those are really the only two names that I recognize, and Bryce Butler. So obviously you got Larry Fitzgerald, probably the most consistent receiver in the NFL every year. Personally, one of my favorite players in NFL history. Just everything about that guy is amazing. He's got the size, 6'3". He's got the speed. He's got probably some of the most solid hands in the league. J.J. Nelson's still young and unproven, 4 years out of UAB. He's very, very fast. He ran a very nice 40 in his combine. And then Bryce Butler, obviously, he's still a young guy. Actually, he's older than J.J. Nelson, 6 years out of the draft. Butler, I don't know a lot about him. I know he's got some size, 6'3", 220-ish. I'm not going to try and break down his benefits and stuff because I'm not familiar with him. But what I am going to say is that the Cardinals definitely need to take a wide receiver in this year's draft. I'm not 100% certain who it'll be. And as I'm making this video, I have just received news. Brandon Marshall has been cut by the Giants. So I kind of expected that. Brandon Marshall's been getting up in age and not producing. He was injured all last year. But back to the Cardinals. Definitely need to take a wide receiver. I think if they can get a pick to take maybe kid out of Alabama, he's definitely my favorite wide receiver in the draft, but it's kind of partially biased as an Alabama fan here. But running back, they have obviously David Johnson. As long as he can stay healthy, they're all set at running back. David Johnson, 6'1", 224 pounds. He's a load to carry. He can carry a load, too. He's a load to take down, but he can carry a load just as big as he is. He's one of the most powerful running backs in the NFL right now. A lot of people call him Marshawn Lynch 2.0. I don't think that's quite fair to him because there's no one in the NFL like Marshawn Lynch. I'm afraid to say that. David Johnson, though, definitely one of the best running backs in the NFL when he's healthy. So offensive line-wise, I'm not 100% sure what they got up there. I know DJ Humphries. I'm pretty sure the left tackle, 6'5", 307 pounds. He's not the best left tackle, but he's got some skill. I mean, he's above average, I would say. I mean, he's only been in the NFL for 4 years. But then on the inside, they got some reliable insurance there with Mike Upati, 9 years in the NFL. And even back when he was in San Francisco, he was a very reliable guard. So it'll be interesting to see how this offensive line performs because they also picked up Justin Pugh from the Giants, and they also have A.Q. Shipley, who isn't great, but he's decent enough. Pretty sure he's their center. And so then we got on the defensive side of the ball, their defensive line is in pretty good shape. Defensive end, they got Chandler Jones and Marcus Golden. Marcus Golden's still young, only 4 years in the NFL so far, and he isn't developing, I don't think, how the Cardinals wanted him to as much as a pass rusher, but he's a pretty decent run stopper. Obviously, Chandler Jones led the league in sacks last year. He's so quick off the ball. He's nearly impossible to block. He's not great against the run, but he's still above average against the run. Plus his skill rushing the passer just makes him one of the best defensive ends in the league right now. At D-tackle on the inside, they got Robert Nkemdiche, who is a young player and has progressed really well so far for the Cardinals. He's come a long way in his first 3 years as far as getting some nice pass rush moves to benefit his run stuffing ability. And then beside him, I'm assuming it will probably be Corey Peters, the 9-year vet out of Kentucky. They both got some big size to them, 6'4", 6'3", both right around 300 pounds. I think they can. I think that defensive line will be able to get in the backfield and disrupt a lot of offenses. Then we move to linebacker, and I think the man who is the most important member of this defense is Deone Bucannon. Deone Bucannon was the safety, as some of you might recall. They moved him down to linebacker due to injuries, and he stayed there. He's just so quick, so fast, so agile, but he actually has the linebacker skills that you need. He's a good tackler. I mean, he doesn't have the size that you really want at 6'1", 211 pounds, but he's still young. He's still 25, been in the league for 5 years, came in when he was 20. I like Deone Bucannon in the middle or on the outside linebacker, playing that kind of slot corner, middle linebacker, outside linebacker role. Not exactly sure what to call it, but whatever it is, he does a good job at it. So then we move to the other linebackers. They have Hassan Reddick, again, another guy. He's very young. He's only 23 out of Temple. He's just so fast at a linebacker position in the NFL where speed is progressing every year. You need to get faster and faster and faster. And Hassan Reddick does that. He is one of the fastest linebackers in the NFL, and I'm not saying that just based off of his Madden rating being one of the best users at the beginning of the year, but Hassan Reddick definitely one of the best linebackers that the Cardinals will have for a few years. I'm not sure what they're going to go with for the third linebacker because I don't see anyone else on here that I really know all that well. It might end up being Scooby Wright the third out of Arizona. I know they've been working with him quite a bit, trying to get him up to speed on where he should be. But moving on to cornerback, obviously they have Patrick Peterson, who I hate saying this because it makes me sound like a bad person, I think, a little bit, but since he got diagnosed with diabetes, I don't think he's been as productive. Now, maybe that's just because he hasn't been making as many headlines because the Cardinals haven't been as good of a team since before, but myself personally, I feel like Patrick Peterson is not as good as he used to be. He's only 27, so he's not that old, but just in my mind, he's not as good. But next, Brandon Williams. He's probably going to be their number 2 or 3 corner. It'll be between Brandon Williams and Marcus Williams. Both they're within 1 inch of each other and a couple pounds. They're pretty much the same corner. Just who's going to be more of a lockdown corner. The Cardinals like to run a lot more man-to-man than zone. So it's all going to be dependent on who proves that they have the better man coverage skills going into this year. And then last but not least, well, it's not going to be last, but we have the safeties. They're going to have Buda Baker and most likely Antoine Bethea. Antoine Bethea, 13 years in the league already out of Howard University. I remember when he was on the Colts, that was a long time ago. This guy is consistent. He may not be super above average, but he is definitely one of the most consistent players that the Cardinals will have, along with Larry Fitzgerald. They have a lot of veterans on this team that I think can be very beneficial to them as far as just consistency. Consistency is key. Being able to perform the same week in, week out, but only having peaks that go up and not down. You want to be able to perform at a flat line, but have peaks that go up, but your performance, you don't want it to ever peak down, because that's literally the exact opposite of consistency. Buda Baker, nice young 22-year-old kid out of Washington, 5'10", 195 pounds. He can fly around the field. He's a ball hawk. He's going to find the ball. He's going to get interceptions, and you got to watch out for him at all times. It's going to be hard. These young quarterbacks, haven't seen a lot of them. Only 2 years out of the league. They're going to have to study film a lot on these young kids coming into the league now, because they all play a lot differently than some of these vets like Antoine Bethea. But last but not least, cannot forget the kicker and punter. So they're going to have Andy Lee and yes, Andy Lee is going to be their punter. And Phil Dawson, there we go. 20 years in the league for Phil Dawson. That's just incredible, and he's still getting the job done. He's not as good as he used to be back on the Browns, but he's still getting the job done, as well as Andy Lee, 15 years in the league. They both have some good power in those legs. I think the Cardinals could be an interesting team to watch this year, depending on how they draft. They need to take a wide receiver in the draft if they want the team to perform well this year. They need to give Sam Bradford targets to throw the ball to. With that being said, that's going to be all for today's video. Tomorrow's video will be the Atlanta Falcons. So leave a like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you liked it. Thank you everybody for watching, and have a good day.